The fourth question is from Sohag Ahmed. Sir, please debate with David Woods or say something to him as he says lot of rubbish things about you and other Islamic scholars. This person, Sohag Ahmed, and few other Muslim brothers have been continuously asking this question that, oh, why Dr. Zakir Naik not debating with David Woods, and they keep on asking this question several times, and I didn't think it was important, but now finally I've taken the question to give them the reason. Firstly, you have to understand that anyone that challenges a person, it's not required that you should accept the challenge. As far as you realize, there are many non-Muslims who are becoming famous just by trying to criticize a popular person. Generally, it's a general rule, whether Muslim or non-Muslim, if he criticizes a popular personality or a celebrity, that person becomes famous. This is a common thing, it's nothing new. So because of that, David Woods is one of the Christians who has spoken against me and spoken against some of the other Muslim scholars and tries to challenge them. Why I have not accepted such challenges? The reason is that first of all, we should not give publicity to such people. That is the reason I didn't want to answer this question. Then I thought of answering the question without taking the name of David Woods. If you go to David Woods' YouTube, you find that he has spoken against me, and those videos that made against me gets views more than 1 million or close to 1 million. So we are giving him free publicity. There was a time when I was involved in the Dawah in my initial stages in the early 90s, and when internet was new. In the mid-90s, internet was new, and when I went to America in the mid-90s, one of the first sites that was against Muslims was Answering Islam, and the person who used to run this site was Joshin Katz. And that time we were new in the field of Dawah, and when anyone wrote against Islam, I used to go out of the way and reply to them. Anyone wrote against me, I used to reply to them. And then I realized the moment we reply to them, you have another 10 counter questions. So what we realized, that my positive work is being stopped. If really that question is a logical question or a question that deserves a reply, should be replied. But these frivolous arguments, at that time when I was new, I told Joshin Katz that, okay, do you want to debate with me? You're writing against Islam. He said, do you think I'm a fool to debate with Dr. Zakir Naik? That was his reply. So if you see in the initial stages of my Dawah in the late 90s, in the early 2000s, I had many debates. And then I realized that debating is not the best, it should be done when required. But better is to talk about, give lectures on similarities between Islam and Christianity, similarities between Islam and Hinduism. But when required, yes. And one of the best debaters in the world, you know, was Sheikh Ahmed Didat. But then we realized that there were people who started challenging me. And one such person was from USA again. I'll tell you his name. Sam Shamoon. And when I went to Chicago, I met him. He said, oh, I want to debate with you. I said, send your guru. And then I had a debate with his guru, Dr. William Campbell. And when I accepted this debate, I was called by the students of USA that Dr. William Campbell wrote a book, Quran and Bible in the Light of Science. And he took out about 30 scientific errors in the Quran. And for 8 years, no Muslim replied. So this book was doing a great damage for the Dawah of the Muslims. And no one replied, so I took up the challenge. I read the book and I went and I debated with it. And alhamdulillah, in Chicago, there were two groups among the Muslims. One group was against the debate. What is this? No one replied. And now this Zakir, who is this young man coming from India? How will he reply? So half the Muslims were against the debate and half the Muslims were for. Alhamdulillah, the debate took place in Chicago and Allah's help was there. Allah's mercy was there, and it was a very successful debate. So much so that after that, alhamdulillah, William Campbell, who got a doctorate in writing a book against Islam, mashallah, it lost its popularity. Later on, then I made a policy that after my videos started becoming popular, then I had a rule. I will only debate with those people who are popular. Then we realized that those people who are not popular started challenging to become popular. And I'll give you a very good example. You know Sheikh Ahmed Didat, he debated with Jimmy Swagat. And Jimmy Swaggart at that time was one of the most popular televangelists. He was multiple times more popular than Sheikh Ahmad Deedat. Many people told him, don't go, he will chew you and spit you. But Alhamdulillah, Sheikh Ahmad Deedat had the help of Allah and he gave a knockout to Jimmy Swaggart. We have another example, he debated with Anis Furosh. Anis Furosh wasn't known at all. But when Anis Furosh debated with Sheikh Ahmad Deedat, Alhamdulillah, won him lock, stock and barrel, but Anis Furosh became popular. So what we realize that when you debate with someone who's popular and an unpopular person debates with a popular person, the unpopular person becomes famous overnight. So why should we make the unpopular Christian missionaries as popular? So then I had a policy that anyone who wants to debate with me should minimum have at least 2% of the audience that I have in my largest gathering. And earlier I said that anyone who can gather 10,000 people individually for a lecture, I will debate him. After that, there was a middle person who requested me to debate with Sri Ravi Shankar. And you know, Sri Ravi Shankar is one of the most famous Hindu preachers in the world. One of the most. It comes in number 1, 2 and 3. And he has a large following. He has a audience of 20,000, 50,000, alhamdulillah. I accepted the challenge and we had a debate in year 2006 in January in his hometown Bangalore. And Allah's help was that it was a very successful debate. The topic was concept of God in Hinduism and Islam in the light of sacred scriptures. Since 2006, there are many people who challenge me for a debate. And when anyone challenges me, I say that I don't waste my time. There are hundreds of people who address large audiences. They're very popular. And my largest gathering that I have given a lecture is previously was in Kerala, then it was in Kishanganj, Bihar, where more than 1 million people attended. So 2% of 1 million is 20,000. So my criteria was I would not mind debating any non-Muslim on any topic of comparative religion as long as he can gather minimum 20,000 people for his live lecture. Not a conference. In conferences there are 20, 30 speakers. They might not have come for him particularly. So if a person gives a solo lecture and if he can get audience of 20,000 people live, not on the YouTube, not on the Facebook, 20,000 live sitting, then I don't mind debating him. And what I'm asking is not something which is difficult. There are hundreds of Hindu preachers in India who have audiences more than 20,000. There are hundreds of Christian missionaries who have audiences more than 20,000. So I tell, if people like Sam Shamoon or people like David Woods want to have a debate, let them become popular. Why do they want to ride on my bandwagon? And if you can't get that gathering, only thing you have to do is convince with your material any other Christian preacher. There are many. Franklin Graham is there, Billy Graham is there, Maurice Cerullo is there. There are many. There are 100 speakers that I know in Christianity who have given live lectures to more than 20,000 people. What you have to do is catch one of them and convince them that your material against me is logical and give it to them. I will have a debate with them. Why should I make you famous overnight? I heard 1 or 2 of his videos that Zakir Naik is a joke. It is. What he's talking is rubbish. But the moment I reply to him, he becomes famous. That's the reason I was avoiding handling this question, because now the moment I take the name of David Woods, most of the people hearing me tonight may not be aware of David Woods. A small percentage maybe. They will go and check. He will become famous. And let me tell you, there are many other people. There was a Dai by the name of Muhammad Hijab. And he came to meet me in Malaysia last year. And he's a fan of mine. He's a good Dai. He personally had a debate with David Woods. I have not seen the video. I was supposed to watch. But some of my colleagues saw it. And they told that Brother Muhammad Hijab, he gave David Woods a knockout. So when others can do the job, why should I waste my time? That's the reason previously we used to reply on the internet. Now we don't. Because the moment you reply, they'll give a counter reply and your work of positive dawah suffers. So that's the reason anyone who wants to debate me, this criteria is there. Give it to a celebrity, give it to a famous personality. He will not be a fool to debate with me. Today, if someone gives $1 million to Shri Ravi Shankar, he will never agree to have a debate with me again. He knows that. Even if you give $2 million to him, he will not. Because he's a celebrity. He will lose his following. And he already lost many people in that debate who were his followers, who called him God. They accepted Islam. So that's the reason I request David Wood to convince any of these 100 Christian missionaries who are popular, who can have audience of more than 20,000. Convince them. If he cannot convince them, why does he want to have a debate with him? When he cannot convince his own Christian brother that the material of his is enough to answer my lectures, why is he wasting his time? These people are only riding on the popularity of other people. Otherwise, he is unknown. And I request the Muslim brothers, please don't waste your time. Please don't waste your time. The person who asked me this question should have, in fact, known that Brother Muhammad Hijab, he had a debate with him and I already answered him. So why should you make David Wood popular? So hope this answers the question. And because I met this criteria since 2006, in the last 14 years, no one has ever wanted to debate me. One of the fans of Sadhguru told me, will you debate Sadhguru? And Sadhguru is a popular person, is not as popular as Shri Ravi Shankar, but he's popular. I told, okay, I accept it, I know he's popular. Okay, if he wants to debate with me, I'm not interested in debating him. He wants to debate, he wants to speak against Islam, wants to challenge me, I'll accept it. Because if he challenges me, and if Allah's help is there, and we present the truth and answer to all his illogical arguments, but naturally he will lose his following. So if people like Sadhguru or someone who's popular want to challenge on any topic of Islam and comparative religion, which I deal with, I accept the challenge. Hope that answers the question.